Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Victoria and Cole's second chance ruined by. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Young and the Restless, relationships don't tend to stand the test of time. Sure, the best couple in all of daytime, Victor, Eric Braeden, and Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, are preparing to celebrate a milestone in their decades-long relationship. However, loyal fans know the pair have had periods where they were married to other people and couldn't stand one another. Love, history, and children just happened to bring them back together. Now someone who hasn't been as lucky in love is the duo's firstborn Victoria, Amelia Heinel. While we always thought Billy, Jason Thompson, was destined to be Victoria's soulmate, the exes have failed to make things work in the past and haven't been romantically involved in quite some time. Even after breaking up with Ashland, Robert Newman, and mate, Sean Dominic, Victoria and Billy didn't rekindle things. Then enters Cole, J. Eddie Peck. Although his deranged Aunt Jordan, Colleen Zank, a vial of poison, and a long-lost daughter are the reason for his return to the Geno City fold, it's becoming evident that show writers are inching closer to rekindling a romance between him and Victoria. For those who need a reminder, once upon a time Cole and Victoria, then Heather Tom, were madly in love. Their young dynamic faced an uphill battle initially because she was getting out of a relationship with Ryan, Scott Reeves, and Cole was involved in a brief romance with Nikki, unbeknownst to Victoria. Then there was the whole notion that Cole could have perhaps been Victor's child, which proved not to be true. However, once Victoria and Cole were able to move past all of these issues, they enjoyed some intense moments of happiness and were rather loving toward one another. The pair would again face issues when Cole and Ashley Eileen Davidson became drawn to each other and got involved, even as Victoria became pregnant, although he wasn't aware that she was carrying his baby at the time. The baby proved to be Eve Howard, aka Claire, Haley Aaron, who they presumed died. Now older, wiser, and co-parents, is #Vol getting a second chance? Well, it certainly looks that way. While we would be happy to see Victoria and Cole to become official, as he brings out a softer side to the notorious Ice Princess, something tells us their love is doomed. We suspect it won't work between the two because someone will become an obstacle too big for them to overcome. In the past, the biggest looming threat to Victoria's relationships has been the mustache himself. No one measures up for his daughter usually, and he was a large part of why her marriages to JT, Thad Luckenbill, and Billy failed, and why she and Nate flamed out so spectacularly. However, so far at least, Victor seems to like Cole, so if Victor doesn't interfere, then who? Allow us to raise the possibility of the culprit being Jordan. Unfortunately, the soap villain is again out on the loose, and we've previously predicted the possibility that Cole would become a victim of his aunt. We thought perhaps she would try to kill Victoria and Cole would step in to save her to his own detriment, dying in the process. Could that happen, or perhaps Cole dying to save Harrison, Redding Munsell, who we suspect Jordan may soon kidnap? If not Victor or Jordan, we can imagine the roadblock for Victoria and Cole could be Victoria herself. Up until this point, Cole has only seen Victoria as a doting mother away from Newman Enterprises. He hasn't seen her when she can become the ruthless businesswoman, reminiscent of her father. When she eventually goes back to work, will he be put off by her career persona? Should that be the case, will she resent him if he tries to change her in any way? While we aren't absolutely positive about what's in store for Victoria and Cole, we'll be watching closely. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the tranquil Geno City. But within the walls of Newman Enterprises, Victoria Newman's heart raced with anticipation. She stood at the window of her office, her gaze fixed on the bustling city below, her mind consumed with thoughts of Cole Howard. Victoria had always been a woman of ambition and drive, but there was something about Cole that made her feel alive in a way she hadn't in years. Their past had been a whirlwind of passion and heartache. But now, with Cole back in her life, Victoria dared to hope for a second chance at love. As the door to her office creaked open, Victoria turned to find Cole standing there, his rugged charm and piercing blue eyes sending a shiver down her spine. "Victoria," he said softly, his voice like velvet. "I've been thinking about what you said. about giving us another chance. Victoria's heart soared at his words, her doubts and fears momentarily forgotten in the warmth of his gaze. I want that more than anything, Cole, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. But just as Victoria moved to take a step forward, a sharp knock echoed through the room, interrupting the moment. With a sigh, Victoria turned to see her brother Adam, standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to talk, Adam said, his tone clipped and businesslike. Cole's jaw tensed at the sight of Adam, his grip tightening on the briefcase he held in his hand. Victoria could sense the tension between the two men, a reminder of the complicated web of family and business that threatened to tear them apart. What is it, Adam? Victoria asked, her patience wearing thin. Adam hesitated for a moment before speaking, his gaze flickering between Victoria and Cole. It's about the merger with Chancellor Industries. There's been a complication. Victoria's heart sank at Adam's words, her hopes for a future with Cole suddenly overshadowed by the harsh realities of corporate warfare. She turned to Cole, desperation flickering in her eyes. We'll talk about this later, she promised, her voice tinged with regret. Cole nodded, his expression grim as he watched Adam leave the room. Victoria felt a pang of guilt as she watched him go, knowing that her dreams of a second chance with Cole were slipping further and further out of reach. As the days passed, Victoria threw herself into her work, determined to salvage the merger with Chancellor Industries and prove herself to both Cole and her family. But try as she might, the obstacles seemed insurmountable, each setback driving a deeper wedge between her and Cole. Their moments together grew fewer and farther between, their conversations strained and awkward as they navigated the treacherous waters of corporate intrigue. Victoria longed to reach out to Cole, to tell him how much he meant to her, but the words remained trapped in her throat, her fear of rejection holding her back. And then, just when Victoria thought things couldn't get any worse, disaster struck. A rival company launched a hostile takeover bid for Newman Enterprises, sending shockwaves through the business world and leaving Victoria reeling. In the chaos that followed, Victoria found herself torn between her loyalty to her family and her love for Cole, each decision weighing heavily on her heart. But no matter how hard she fought, it seemed that fate was determined to keep them apart. As the days turned into weeks, Victoria watched helplessly as the walls closed in around her, the pressure of her responsibilities threatening to crush her spirit. And through it all, Cole remained by her side, his unwavering support the only thing keeping her from falling apart. But even Cole's love couldn't protect Victoria from the harsh realities of the world they lived in, and as the battle for control of Newman Enterprises reached its climax, Victoria knew that she would have to make a choice. In the end, Victoria chose her family, sacrificing her own happiness for the greater good. And as she watched Cole walk away, his heart heavy with regret, Victoria couldn't help but wonder if she had made the right decision. But as the dust settled and the smoke cleared, Victoria realized that sometimes love isn't enough to conquer all, and that some dreams are meant to remain just that, dreams. And as she picked up the pieces of her shattered heart, Victoria vowed to never again let her passions cloud her judgment, for in the end, it was her own choices that had led to her downfall. And so, as the sun set on another day in Genoa City, Victoria Newman stood alone at the window of her office, her gaze fixed on the horizon, her heart heavy with regret. For in the end, she had lost not only the love of her life but a piece of herself as well, and no amount of regret could ever change that.